Hello everyone, my name is Abılaiхан and today we will talk about the mass spectroscopy techniques. So mass spectroscopy, spectrometry is a technique that measures the mass to charge ratio of ions to identify and quantify the molecules. Mass spectrometers can be divided by the ion source. It's the how sample molecules are ionized. They can be divided depending on the mass analyzer. It's the how sample molecules are separated according to their mass to charge ratio, and the ion detector, which is how the separated ions are detected and sent to the data system. Mass to charge ratio and their relative abundance is presented as the mass to charge spectrum. So ionization methods can be electrospray ionization, matrix-assisted laser deposition ionization, atmospheric pressure chemical ionization, electron impact, fast atom bombardment, field desorption, field ionization, and or thermospray ionization. So electron spray ionization and matrix-assisted laser deposition ionization is the most commonly used techniques in mass spectrometry. Mass analyzer uses to separate ions formed in ionization source according to their mass to charge ratio. And mass analyzers can be quadrupoles, time of flight analyzers, magnetic sectors, and both Fourier transforms and quadrupole ion traps. And ion detectors used to monitor ion current and amplify it. So the signal is transmitted to data system where it is recorded as mass spectra. Mass to charge values of ions are plotted against their intensities to show number of components in sample, molecular mass of each component, and the relative abundance of various components in sample. So here is the brief schematic representation of mass spectrometer. So ionization of samples happens here, and then ionized samples move through the tube and divide by mass to charge ratio and detected and amplified and then sent to the screen. And here the example of the mass spectrum spectra. So mass to charge or a spectrum shows the dominant ions at mass to charge, which are consistent with the expected protonated molecular ions. And the measured molecular weight is 555.1 Dalton from this chart. So here you can see the mass spectrum of sulfametazine acquired without collision-induced dissociation, which exhibits the little fragmentation. However, while we use the collision-induced dissociation, we can exhibit more fragmentation and we can observe more structural information from the sample. So samples with molecular weight greater than 1,200 Daltons give rise to multiply charged molecular related ions, such as in positive ionization mode and in negative ionization mode. Also proteins, they have many suitable sites for protonation, as all of the backbone amide nitrogen atoms could be protonated in theory. Also, the certain amino acids, they have, such as lysines and arginine, they have primary amines on their side chain, which also can be protonated. So application of mass spectroscopy, it greatly uses in proteomics to determine the protein structure, function, folding, and interactions. Also, it uses to identify proteins from the mass of its peptide fragments. Also, it detects the specific post-translational modifications throughout complex biological mixtures. Also, it quantifies the proteins in a given sample and monitors the enzyme reaction, chemical modification, and protein digestions. Also, mass spectrometry used in drug discovery to determine the structure of drugs and metabolites, to screen for metabolites in biological systems. In clinical testing, it uses to perform forensic analysis such as confirmation of drug abuse or detect the disease biomarkers. In genomics, it uses to sequence the oligonucleotides. Also, it can be applied in environmental studies, for example, to test the water quality, food contamination, or the soil composition. In geology, it measures the petroleum composition. Also, it's used to perform the carbon dating. And newer technique, which is tandem mass spectrometer, it uses more than one analyzer. It can be quadrupole analyzer, magnetic sector quadrupole analyzer, quadrupole or time of flight and time of flight geometries. So here you can see the reference that were used for this presentation. And if you want to study this in much more details, you can find these articles and use it for your studies. So thank you for your attention. Bye.